What is up, Philly Nation? Welcome back to the Bird Gang Brothers podcast, episode 4. Quick reminder to give us a follow on all social media platforms, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Also, want to give a reminder to and a shout out as well to the creator of the music content for our intro video, The Blanks. They are throwing a backyard concert October 13th. That is this Friday. Please give them a follow, message them to get the address for that location, and go show them some support. But without any further ado, let's jump into this week's recap.
Yeah, so this was a fun game to watch. I was very impressed with Sean Desai in the second half, stopping Cooper Kupp. I was impressed, and you can see improvement with Brian Johnson, and you could see some emotion with the entire team. Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni,
Jason
Jason
Kelsey.
Kelsey. Yeah, Jason Kelsey was kind of pissed, and it was kind of funny watching him up on the line. There was some confusion as to who had the mic front, I think is what they called it, and then watching
No,
him
yeah,
be so active on the sideline with Jeff Stoutland as well. Yeah, it was it's kind of funny to watch, but that's
it'll be interesting to see what his take is on this week's newest episode of the New Heights podcast. You know, of course, every player is going to have their games that are like this, but yeah, you hardly ever see Kelsey have emotion like that on the sideline. So it'll be interesting. Uh,
well, and you almost wonder if this emotion on the sideline is coming from the knowledge and the fact that he's getting close to retirement. And I think he knows that. They have the talent and the team to be able to win this year. And so I wonder if that's part of it. Maybe his emotions are coming out because he's getting to the end of a game that he loves playing. So I don't know. Interesting to think about.
Definitely gonna be sad watching after this season if he does um, decide to retire. Um, the dude's been a beast, the best. At least in our handful of years that we've been able to watch the Eagles, he's got to go down as one of the best centers in the league. So he's definitely on my Mount Rushmore of centers. But but yeah, no, just to kind of jump back on that defense, um, their defensive possessions in the second half was a punt, 3 punts, turnover on downs, and they only allowed a total of 95 yards on those 5 possessions. Um, the Rams did not run, and if I'm correct, I don't think they ran a single um, offensive play in Philly's red zone the entire second half. So that was definitely a sight to see. I was a big one that popped out to me. Of course, we're always going to highlight him, but Jalen Carter, I think that's a big,
Baby
big
Ryan.
baby rhino baby. I think that's a big reason as to why those defensive possessions were so quick, and it allowed Philly to maintain possession of the ball for as long as they did. So props to Jalen Carter. I mean, the dude, he's got so many pressures on on quarterbacks, and I just love it, especially for all those Cowboys fans out there um, that thought Jalen wasn't gonna be as great of a player as he is in comparison um, to Mozzie.
I was going to say Mozzie Smith. I think they were anticipating that Mozzie Smith would be a better defensive player than Jalen Carter, which is far away from the truth. We all knew that coming in. I'll be honest, on draft night, I was a little skeptical because of the off-field issues that Jalen Carter had, but I don't know, to see what he's doing on the field and be walking in the shoes of Aaron Donald and having as much success, pressures, and sacks with less snaps because he comes in after Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. For him to be able to be ranked in that top three with Aaron Donald, I'm stoked. I haven't been alive for a defensive lineman of his caliber, and so I'm really excited to see what he does. And he's only a rookie. I mean, this game today, or I mean last night, 2 sacks. And let me see. So yeah, Jalen Carter, aka Baby Rhino, is ranked number one in pressures at 23. He's ranked number one at hurries with 17, and he's ranked number three with sacks at 3.5.
I got to highlight. Did you see how quick he got off the line and pressured Matthew Stafford? Like
Oh, yeah.
he got off the line quicker than I get off the couch to run to the bathroom. Like that man is crazy. Like I got so excited when he was able to pressure him that quick. Like man, dude's a beast. I
Well,
think
and his ability to use his hands to swing past the offensive lineman, like smack him upside the head, is pretty much what it looks like trying to get to the quarterback. So, yeah, he did amazing. Uh, Hassan Reddick with 2 sacks today coming at
recorded
the
two
end of the game.
sacks.
So that's been cool to see. I mean, getting his cast off and he's got 3 sacks.
No, I'm excited to have him back to his normal playing ability. Like you definitely could see on the field those first couple weeks, what that cast or how that affected him. So to see him record those two, I want to say they were back to back sacks. Um, I could be wrong. I can't remember, but
I think I think it was on the same drive for the Rams because I think one was like the first or second down, and then the second one was on fourth down.
yeah, gotcha. It was, I was excited to see our defense playing good. Our secondary still needs a bit of help. Shout out to hometown hero Puka Nakua. I mean that ball placement in his hands. I don't know. You can never judge a player. I've never been in their shoes, but like I don't know if you saw how far away Bradbury was behind Puka Nakua
Yeah,
on that touchdown pass. So shout out to hometown hero, even though he played for BYU. But gotta give shout outs to him on that.
well, he was probably pretty stoked when he saw Travis Kelsey on New Heights in a BYU jersey. Um, but I don't know. I've seen some tweets lately about how Denver might be tearing it down, and there's no one off limits, so to speak. So I'm interested to see if Philly targets anyone from Denver. Patrick Surtain has been thrown out there. Justin Simmons, Jeremy Chin from Carolina. So I do believe Howie is working the phones right now as we get closer to the trade deadline at the end of October. I definitely think something will be done. Howie's not going to let this one slide. We're in an open window, and this could definitely be our year again. So I think something gets done. I did want to talk about really fast. You look at Cooper Kupp in the first drive of the Rams opening drive. Cooper Kupp had 6 targets, 5 receptions, and around 54, 55 yards. They were all on intermediate slant routes, and we had a mix of Mario Goodrich, Eli Ricks, and Roby on Cooper Kupp. And Mario Goodrich and Eli Ricks are not the answer.
Mm-mm.
Cooper Kupp was cooking them. Uh, when Bradley Roby came in, his veteran presence and his knowledge is a huge advantage. I don't know if you saw that there were occasions where he needed to switch with Bradbury or Slate, and so he'd tap his head, and they knew that that was okay. Switch positions, follow this wide receiver, and let me pull up a quick stat really fast.
Gotta say though, those slant routes like that Cooper runs, they're just crazy. Like you gotta think like because Cooper Cup's so good at those slant routes, is the NFL gonna look into banning it because he's so good? Is the NFL gonna look into banning Dak Prescott from throwing interceptions because he's so good at it?
Ooh, wow, shots fired.
So
What did he have? Did he have like 2 or 3 against the Niners?
he had three, but hey, no need to get into Dak Prescott. It's no, not even worth talking. But no, on the real note, those slant routes, those are crazy, and Philly's got to put someone else on them, in my opinion. Like you said, they're not fit to be guarding talent over there in Cooper Cup.
Well, so Bradley Roby, I mean, that was huge for him to come in, sign with Philly, and quickly turn around to play against the Rams. He was targeted 3 times. Cooper Kupp had 1 reception for 5 yards. That was, I think, I want to say after halftime, you saw numbers drastically slow down for Cooper Kupp, and that was attributed to Bradley Roby and the defensive adjustments that Sean Desai made. I think it's important that we highlight his ability to make in-game adjustments because we didn't see that a lot with Jonathan Gannon last year. So props to Sean Desai. He did a great job. I think if you look at the time, like plays, yards, time of possession, uh, it was 21-20 in favor of the Eagles, 100-93 yards in favor of the Eagles, and time of possession was pretty identical, 9:43 and 9:38 in favor of the Eagles. And by the end of the game, numbers pretty much doubled. You had double time of possession for Philadelphia. Now, I'll talk about this a little later, but it just kind of shows you what Sean Desai was able to do from half number one to half number two. So I thought we played uh, well enough. I thought we did a decent job. Nicholas Morrow, we highlight him, obviously. Uh, no one's going to be perfect, but come on, dude. You got to get the interception and you got to pick up the fumble. I I don't know what he had on his hands, but it wasn't working.
No, to kind of highlight what you were saying about that time of possession, I think a big thing that definitely helped was AJ Brown. He was extending the plays. A big play that I definitely believe kept us in the game and allowed us to be so explosive in the second half was, I don't know if you saw it, but that one-handed snag to set us up for the brotherly shove before halftime.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, that man, he's unreal. I want to say he's the first Eagle to have three straight 120, 150 plus yards. I can't remember, since Mike Quick. And
Mhm.
that's telling you something. We have Philly definitely doesn't have like over the time they haven't had these amazing wide receivers. You know, of course Jeremy Maclin, in back in those days, but it's AJ Brown, man,
He's so he's so His
Yeah,
ability to get off the line when you do those short slant routes over the middle, he's strong. He's fast. He knows how to cut. He knows how to curl. It's I don't know. We're very blessed as Eagles fans to have the wide receivers that we do, and I don't know. I've seen throughout the last couple of days and saw it yesterday. Jalen Hurts force feeding the ball to Jalen Hurts. This was a Dallas Goedert game as well. He was over 100 yards. I think he had 117 yards with 8 receptions and a touchdown. Uh, One thing that kind of goes unnoticed because it's not as sexy is I think it was the fourth quarter. DeAndre Swift had a run on the left side, and Dallas Goedert comes behind the line, puts a block on the linebacker,
opens
and
up the hole.
Swift goes up the middle.
Yep.
Like those are the things that not a whole lot of people notice, but are huge and important to the game, and it just added to the kind of game that he had. It was I love Dallas Goedert. We've had awesome tight ends as well.
I agree. Talking about the offense, though, I gotta ask you your opinion on the Quez Watkins experiment. Like, are you done with the dude? Are you still trying to give him a shot? Like, I don't know. That play where he did not use those blocks and instead cuts
Oh,
up
the
to the
block,
left.
the block with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and there was a hole right in the middle, and he goes around the left side and comes up short. You saw Nick Sirianni; he was pissed. So was Devontae Smith. Like if it was Devontae Smith, he's running up the middle on that block. Um, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Are you done with the Quez Watkins
I, I
experiment, or
I really, really wish, that he would work. But there's been too many plays in big games where he drops the ball, doesn't hit the holes. I mean, the dude's quick. So if he has those type of hands to catch those balls, I mean, that's just another weapon for that Philly offense. So, I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting to see throughout the season, but I don't know. I think they may move on from him after this season.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they moved on from him after the season, or even packaged him at the trade deadline. I'm a hit and miss. I He can definitely take the top off, and he's quick. And so that's one reason I think you want to keep him around is because if you have him shooting straight down the field, you know, underneath is going to be open for the rest of your playmakers. At the same time, I think Zacchaeus is producing and doing a lot better blocking, run blocking, and making the most of his opportunities. So I think I'd like to see Zacchaeus get more time at the wide receiver 3 position. I think Quez Watkins has to be careful. If he avoids blocking assignments that are meant for him, Sirianni's going to see that. So I don't know. He can certainly make plays. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's just put it that way. If he's not on the team in the second half of the season. Um, but speaking of Quez Watkins, there was, and this is more a mistake of Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts was rolling to the right side for through Quez Watkins. Devontae Smith was wide open underneath. Like, make an easy pass. Stop trying to force feed the ball to make a big play, which is awesome. We know you can, but stop trying to do it all the time. So I don't know. I was a fan of Watkins, but yeah, too many drop passes and big plays. Super Bowl.
He's like the new Nelson Aguilar.
Nelly. Okay. I was trying to think on the offensive side of the ball. We touched on Dallas Goedert. Had a great game. Let's see, I'll pull up the stats right here. So for Dallas Goedert, he had 8 receptions for 117 yards and a touchdown, and he had 9 targets. So only one missed opportunity there. A.J. Brown, 6 receptions for 127 yards, and Devontae Smith with 1 reception and 6 yards. Like, I know you can get the ball to everyone, but come on. Devontae Smith is a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL on another team. Like, you've got
Yeah,
to get the
you
ball.
put him on, quite honestly, almost every other squad. He's wide receiver number 1.
Oh, for sure.
It's changed since the Minnesota game, and it hasn't been the same. And to your point, yes, can't get it to everyone all the time, but you gotta get more targets. I mean, I don't know if that's Jalen Hurts. I don't know if it's the play calling by Brian Johnson. You just gotta, I don't know, you gotta hit your targets more often. But we'll see. I think each game's a little different, and each game's kind of like a one man game, one man show. Um, so it'll be interesting to see kind of how that shapes out here in the next few weeks.
I just hope they can get their emotions in check. I hope that their relationship is as strong, as fun as it was last year. Because I feel like I've seen way more outbursts from A.J. Brown, what we assume, not getting the ball enough. Devontae Smith yesterday, I mean, he handled it differently. He walked down the sideline and he was kind of quiet, but you could tell he was upset not getting enough targets. So I don't know. I hope the locker room, and I feel like they're okay. Nick Sirianni's not going to let anything get in the way. His team has built chemistry over the years, especially last year. So I don't know. I hope that they're still trying to build that relationship to be able to go throughout the season.
We got to
What
get
did you think of?
more on the skinny Batman, fat Batman, fast
Yeah,
Batman. We got to get that back. Like,
yeah, just fun. Like that's all we want.
yep.
Um, what did you What did you think of the now 22-1 Jalen Hurts? Now that stat 22-1 is regular season starts over the last 2 seasons, but how did you think he played?
He played really well, in my opinion. I think he had over 300 yards. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that was his second straight week. Um,
Yeah,
over
303.
over 300 yards, rushed for a good chunk. But no, the dude's a dog. I mean, didn't love that throw. That turned into a pick. Obviously, great footwork by that defensive outside defensive player. But no, I think he's tied with Patty Mahomes with the longest win streak by a starting quarterback age
Mm.
25 or younger. So that's definitely, you know, an interesting stat for you there. But I feel like you played a pretty good game yesterday.
No, yeah, like you said, 303 yards, 25 of 38, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That interception kind of irritated me because you need to throw the ball on the outside shoulder for A.J. Brown to have an opportunity. But I think what he was trying to do
Just trying to get that
was
flag.
recreate what happened on the left side when the pass interference was thrown towards A.J. Brown right before halftime, trying to get the same call. And then, Witherspoon is smarter than that. He played underneath A.J. Brown, therefore resulting in the pick. So I didn't like that decision. I don't know why we're throwing the ball in the red zone on a deep pass like that. I would have preferred we do some of those short field passes, considering our inability to score in the red zone, which, since we're talking about the red zone right now, I'm going to throw this out. And this is kind of concerning because when you play teams like Buffalo, Miami, San Francisco, you need to score. But if you look at the scores throughout the entire game, touchdown from Dallas Goedert, obviously, field goal in the second quarter. There was a touchdown run from Jalen Hurts in the second quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, 2 field goals. So we were in the red zone 5 times, and we scored twice. 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals. That's a problem when Jake Elliott has more points than Daniel Jones. And it's a problem when Philadelphia is ranked first in field goals made in the entire NFL. So that's concerning. That's the one concern I walked away from that game with. And the offense. The offense is improving. They're definitely clicking like they were last year, but the red zone offense is very concerning.
Yeah, no, I feel that was my biggest takeaway as well. Is it's just not turning those plays into points on the scoreboard. Um, I hope that can change. I'm grateful for Jake Elliott. I'm glad we have the dude. He's one of the better kickers right now in the league.
And the reason we're undefeated.
And the reason we are undefeated. But you don't want him. You don't want to bank on just your kicker. So hopefully things change. I don't know.
Really, really quick, because we're talking about offense right now, and we need to highlight the job that Stoutland University is doing with Jordan Mailata, Kelsey Johnson, Dickerson, Opeta, why he's in for Jurgens. But in the last 5 games against the Philadelphia Eagles, Aaron Donald has tallied 0 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss, and 6 QB hits. So that shows you how talented the offensive line for Philadelphia is. And I'm excited for that offensive line to go up against San Francisco and their defensive line. Um, I don't know. It's so impressive what the offensive line is able to do. And, we should be grateful that Howie Roseman invests as much time and draft capital into the offensive line as he does.
No, yeah, Stoutland University, crazy good group, and a shout out to Opeta for the work he's been able to do. Like, also another hometown hero. So, hats off to him on that one. But
I think Weber State, right?
yep, Weber State. So good on Stoutland. Love to see the dude. Hate to see him when he goes.
Which we did
Because
sign him just this last offseason to a contract of multiple years. So I know Howie Roseman doesn't want him to leave. So we paid him handsomely.
yeah, he'll stay, but definitely, whether he is done coaching, whatever it may be, it's definitely going to be difficult to replace good Stoutland University. So
Yeah. Well, 5-0 on to the New York Jets.
hopefully,
No
hopefully Jalen Hurts can look out for Devontae Smith as much as, Zach Wilson looks out for older women in the crowd. Hopefully there can be, some better
Maybe his
improvements.
bunnies are going to be at the game.
It's hey, you never know. Hopefully not, because when they are, he has a good game. So
I think, I mean, no game is a cakewalk in the NFL, but I think this defensive line is going to wreak havoc on Zach Wilson.
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be surprised if we put up a 40 burger. So we'll see what happens. But then after the Jets game, that's kind of when things get rolling in the schedule. So, we'll look forward to that. But thanks for tuning in and watching us on episode 4 of the Bird Gang Brothers podcast. See you guys.